we've been having stories about kidnap of students and all of that. But there's another heart-wrenching one. Only yesterday again, we heard that some school students had yet again been abducted, and this happened right in the domain of the Zamfara State governor. The bandits are becoming more daring. You know, we still have some students who are still in captivity, even though some of them have been released, and now another 73 have been abducted. Apart from that, in Ekiti State, we also heard that some people were abducted from their homes and all of that. I mean, what do you think about the whole of this issue? What exactly is going on?
Well, honestly, it is an unfortunate situation. Everybody is disturbed with the trends of these massive kidnappings, more especially of children, schoolboys, and schoolgirls. And the situation is getting out of hand. Why? Because we as Nigerians, these kidnappers are living within us. You see somebody with no legitimate source of income, you know, spending money buying, you know, exotic cars, building skyscrapers, and then nobody question him or her. When we were kids, if you travel out, you come back, you start sharing out money, people will start running away from you. They will not take your money because they don't know your source of income. But these days now, anybody can just wake up and become a multi-millionaire, and they will start dishing out money, and people will be worshiping him, praising him or her. And this is why people, you know, want to get rich quick by hook or by crook and by all means. And this is what is responsible for this increase in criminal activities, more especially kidnappings. Because before now we have armed robbery. And people come to realize that armed robbery is no longer working, more especially with this technology where you can just transfer money as you wish without carrying huge amount of money. So they decide to be kidnapping people. So that is the problem we have.
Well, there are no doubt efforts, you know, being made by all the security agencies in tackling the existing and, of course, the emerging security threats we are currently witnessing in the country. But things seem not to be getting any better. And there are several conspiracy theories surrounding insecurity in the country. Some have come out to allege connivance by some, you know, persons within the security agencies, you know, in all that is currently going on. Being a chairman of PCRC, Police Relations Committee, I'm sure you've been working with the various security agencies, particularly the police. Where do you situate all of these conspiracy theories?
Well, honestly, I don't buy any conspiracy theories, because what we believe is all hands must be on deck, not only on the part of the security agencies, but even on us, members of the general public. I will tell you a story about a town in my state, Kebbi, where nobody was kidnapped. Nobody was ever, kidnapped in that place. That place is Argungu. Why? Because the community are massively behind the security agencies, and they organize themselves into, even if armed robbers come to the town, at a moment notice, they are just called to arrest, even if it is in the middle of the night, and the people will rush. They will use whatever they have, stones, firewood, throwing this in, and chasing these people away. But the unfortunate situation is generally this idea of wanting to get rich quick. And once people have that idea in their minds, they can do anything to, get money. And that is our problem. That is number one. Number two, we as a community, we have to get ourselves organized. We all know the challenges facing the security agencies. They are not enough. They don't have enough resources. They don't have enough welfare. And they don't have even enough motivation. People will get killed in the line of duty, and their spouses will suffer because they are not being taken care of. And then their number are quite inadequate. And that is why the PCRC on our own part, we are trying to mobilize members of the general public, not only to work with the security agencies, but also to find ways and the manners of fishing out these, criminals from among ourselves. Most of them are not living in the bush, as was alleged. Some of them will go into the bush with their hardware and then come back to their families. And some of them are known. But for fear of being attacked yourself, many people don't want to expose them. And that is the situation we have.
All right. Now, that's a challenge, isn't it?
A big challenge.
So, if, for instance, you are not sure of being protected by the security agencies who are empowered to protect you as a citizen, how well would you be sure that you can be protected if you reveal information about someone within your locality who may know that you are the one that leaked information and come after you and you are not protected? Now, isn't that a big challenge? And how are you dealing with this?
Yes, and that is why we have the PCRC. You don't have to go and report directly to the security agencies. You have your members of the PCRC in all the communities, right from division, in some areas, up to units.
In the whole of Nigeria?
In the whole of the country.
You mean the PCRC is nationwide?
It's nationwide. It has, units, it has divisions, it has, area commands. We also have states and zonal offices. So you don't have to go directly to the police or to the security agencies to report a drug peddler or a drug trafficker. You don't have to go to the police directly to report a kidnapper.
If some people have trust issues with the police or other security agencies, what's the guarantee that they can trust people within the hierarchy of the PCRC?
Because they are civilian like themselves. They are civilian like themselves. And they don't even have to go directly face to face to tell them. Get their numbers. People call me from all over the country, right from units up to national level. Just get their number, call them, inform them of what is happening, and they have direct access to the police and other security agencies, including the NDLEA. Because even last week we were with the chairman of this National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, because we realized that the root cause of this problem is drug abuse and the greed. And that is why we want to partner with the NDLEA to see how we can, mobilize people against this drugs abuse. Because you can't just go and kill somebody like that if you are in your normal senses. People take drugs to commit various forms of crimes, and it is getting worse, even among school children.
Would I be right to say that the police community relations committee hasn't performed well over the years? I don't know how long you have been in existence, but it would seem like many people do not know that you exist or what role you play, because if they do know, then some of these issues and attacks we're having in communities and they don't get reported to you for you to know what to do would have been reported.
No. You see, that is why you come in, the press. Before now, PCRC was established since 1984. But before now, we just operate locally without, giving publicity. Because even the PCRC members themselves, are security conscious about themselves. Because they live among the community, they don't have any protection themselves, and some of them, they don't give publicity. We don't give publicity at the local levels. Only that we have this normal common security meeting in the communities, and then from there people get aware about members of the PCRC who operate in their own localities. But to give it publicity, it's just quite recently that we have even been giving it publicity even at the national level, because we operate just like civilian spies in the community, collecting useful intelligence information and passing it to the police, right from the divisional level up to national level. And because of that security consciousness at the local level, we don't give it that media publicity. But at a national level now, we have been giving it massive publicity, and we innovate certain things. For instance, we establish youth and women committees.
All right. Okay, we'll talk more about that.
Okay.
But let's look at the relationship between your members and, of course, the security agencies. Yes. Generally, there seems to be, this apathy on the part of members of the community to volunteer information to security agencies because of the trust issues, we talked about earlier. In the course of your work as chairman of PCRC, that's the Community Relations Committee, have you received reports from your members on ill treatment or abuse of information, they willingly divulge to the security agencies?
Yes, we from time to time receive such information, and we deal with it through the hierarchy of the security agencies. When somebody informs us that he gave information, like not long ago, just last year, some bandits were arrested and they were taken to the state capital. I don't want to mention the place or the state capital. And after some time they were released. And they went and started threatening the people who, exposed them. And the PCRC units from that place called to inform us. So we took all the matter with the State Commissioner of Police, and he directed that these people should be arrested. Why should they be released without being taken to court? It is not the duty of the police just to release people like that. They should have taken them to court. More especially, it's just like a kind of community arrest that they were arrested and taken to court, and they were remanded in prison because they have already gone back to the community and started threatening people. Now, how do we know that these people were released from police custody, for instance? It's because of the duty of the community. There are also so many instances in which, people will report information, just as in every organization there are some bad acts. And some of these bad security agencies will release the information of those who reported the information to them, thereby exposing them to danger. And when we have such situation, we also report to the superior officers of that affected officer. We have contact up to the Police Service Commission, apart from the force headquarters here, where when such things happen, we report and appropriate actions are taken. Even yesterday, we visited the Police Service Commission because we partner with all the security agencies in order to make sure that members are protected and those rogues element among the force are exposed.
Now that brings me to still asking, why do we now have escalating situations in communities? Because most of these attacks, they don't happen at the city center, they happen at the communities where your members are supposed to be operating. Yes. Earlier this week, we had a local government chairman from Plateau State, yes, who talked about, raised alarm as to the information they had about an attack that may happen in the community, and they alerted the security agencies, and they were everywhere patrolling the entire community, and that helped to nip that in the bud. So what that means is that if the security agencies have prior information about an intending or impending attack on a community, yes, they can actually quell that attack. Exactly. But he says something specific, that some of the people who are coming into the community to attack the members of the community come from outside because of the porous borders. So how does your PCRC deal with such issue? Now, if the people who are attacking communities aren't members of the communities, meaning they may not be easily identified by the people themselves, how do you deal with that?
No, honestly, it's very easy, because any new person coming into any community is known. No matter what, even if he is of the same tribe or of the same language, when he comes new into the community, he is known. I will give you an example. We partner with one international German agency to identify these illegal routes that give easier access from these neighboring countries, citizens walking into Nigeria just like that. And we take sample of this border along between Lagos and the Benin Republic. We also take another sample between Ilela in Sokoto State, and we realize that members of those communities, because they profit from that interaction, inter-border crossing, they exchange trades. Most of them, they are relatives, just artificial border separated them, and they don't export them. And we realize that the best way to do it is to partner with the immigration department, because most of them, even though they come through illegal borders, but many of them come through the legal borders. And it is the problem of policy in this country. When you go to Benin Republic or even Niger Republic, you don't just walk in like that. The moment you are identified as a non-citizen of that country, you will have to go and register, so that they will know where you go, how you move about, and they will be monitoring you. But here, our borders are porous. Even when you come, you see trailer loads of people just passing through the border without any form of registration. Quite all right, they are ECOWAS citizens, and they are entitled to certain privileges of the ECOWAS. But ECOWAS protocol did not stop them from being registered and from knowing where they are moving to, so that when they leave that area to another area, it will be known. But here we don't register at all. People just, fill trailer load of people, and they will just pass through the border. No registration whatsoever. Nobody asks them whether they have ECOWAS certificate or ECOWAS passport or something like that. We monitor the border along these two borders for over 2 weeks, and we have seen what has been happening. And it was reported to the immigration head office.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.